Breaking news on the Occupy Wall Street protest today, taking their message uptown, marching to the homes. Some very high-profile corporate executives who they say are hoarding the wealth. J.P. Morgan Chase chairman and CEO Jamie Dimon, billionaire David Koch, hedge fund manager John Paulson, and News Corporation chairman and CEO Rupert Murdoch. Among those targeted, News Corp, of course, is the parent of this network. But by getting so personal, are the demonstrators risking a backlash against their cause? Here to weigh in, our panel, Dr. Nick Perricone, Mark Sawyer, and Francis Newton. And Doctor, particularly the hypocrisy or the contradictions because of the fact that a lot of their supporters are rich people. I mean, isn't there a contradiction here?
Well, I think the important thing to understand here is it's a worrisome trend because we're now falling into the pattern where we have the haves and the have-nots, very much like South America. And what was great about America is that we had wealth that was distributed and that people were not afraid to go out of their homes. We're not living in a fortress like we are, say, in South America. And this is very worrisome, and I think we have to look at this for what it is. It's a trend, and we've got to maybe change economic policy so this is not going to happen.
All right, and Mark, you know, I spent 12 years in Latin America. You don't want to live like that where you just have the haves and have-not, or have that kind of divide that these people seem to want.
Yeah, inequality really, these people don't want the divide. The divide is happening regardless, right? The rich keep getting richer and the poor middle class are falling behind.
But don't we still have a majority middle class, unlike Latin America and other parts of the world?
Yeah, but the problem is that the middle class is getting poor while the wealthy are getting wealthier and wealthier. The distance between the CEOs and the very wealthy and the middle class is such that they can't build the gates high enough now.
Mark, I agree with that. And Francis, you can't deny the figures. That gap is growing, but the gap is growing precisely at a time when we are growing government. Isn't that proof positive that the bigger you grow government, the bigger the gap you get?
That is absolutely correct. I've never heard a more intelligent statement. Here's the deal. When you have a deflationary collapse, obviously you have default that deletes the middle class. And we do need to lay off on the government. Otherwise, you're heading towards socialism, and God forbid you're heading towards communism. That is the problem, and that is why socialism and communism are not mathematically viable.
Laughing,
and I'm telling you.
This is nuts. That any middle-class protest ultimately ends in Bolshevism. It's just ridiculous. It's garbage. It's not even worth listening to.
It's just a middle-class.
These are hard-working people
protest, that's all
who want their fair share and who want billionaires to pay a slightly higher marginal tax rate. If you call that Bolshevism, paying a 32%
hold on a second. You're describing. Hold on a second, Mark. You're describing the Obama game plan with regard to increased taxation. Is that all this group is? Just a front for the Obama administration?
No, I think these people have their own ideas, but they just want what's fair. That's all that people are asking for, is for an economy that's fair, that gives regular, hard-working people who go out there every day and work hard.
Well, Doctor, is it fair to go after people that have a lot of money if they don't believe the way you believe?
Well, I think the thing is to focus on where the problem is. It's our elected representatives made changes to economic policy back in 1994. Now, I can ask people what's the latest basketball score. They know all about it, but they're not paying attention to government. Okay, so we have to start paying attention. If you're not interested in politics, someday politics takes an interest in you, and we're at that point.
All right, we're going to hear more from our panel coming up. Meanwhile, the Wall Street protesters are also stinking up the neighborhood, while lower Manhattan business people are losing money and their patience with the demonstrators. We're going to hear from one of them who is furious.